Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the Mattel DC Universe Classics Wave 12. We're looking today at Dr. Midnight. As with every other figure, Dr. Midnight does include a collector button. And is intended for an all-adult collector, not necessarily the button, but the figure. Oh, and also, something I haven't read yet, caution, not suitable for children under 4 years. Toy contains a functional sharp point for use under the direct supervision of an adult. Take extra care during unpacking and use. Toy contains a functional sharp point. Are they referring to the button? A simple mistake. I know a lot of people grew up, I especially grew up always playing with my buttons like toys. I used to have like army builders. I used to have just a stack of buttons. Tanks moving around, little buttons piloting the tanks. Wait, what are we talking about? Yeah, apparently a button is a toy. I can't see any other sharp points on this particular figure. They surely must be talking about the button. No sense whatsoever. By the way, this is also figure 4. On the back of the package, other figures that make up this wave, we got Eclipso, the Spectre, Copperhead, Dr. Midnight, Desaad, Mary Batson, and Iron. You collect 7 of these figures here. Not necessarily having to collect the 2 variants, but collect all 7 and build this guy right here. A very impressive Darkseid. Speaking of impressive, there's a really nice picture of Dr. Midnight up top there. The biography says, while removing a bullet from a witness to a crime, Dr. Charles McNider was blinded by a grenade meant to silence his patient. During recovery from his injuries, McNider was startled when an owl crashed through his window. Removing his bandages to investigate, he found he could see in perfect darkness. He later found that he could not see in daylight and developed special goggles and blackout bombs to help him see in light and fight crime. He adopted the owl, Hootie. I think later on Hootie joined the team, the Blowfish, if I'm not mistaken, and joined the Justice Society of America to continue his fight against evil. Only want to be with. Statistics: first appearance, All-American Comics number 25, April 1941. Real name Charles McNider. Occupation physician and hero. Base of operations New York City, and various others. Special abilities: infrared glasses allow perfect vision in all lighting conditions, including total darkness. Skilled surgeon, hand-to-hand combatant, exceptional agility, black gas, blackout bombs, pet owl, and crime-fighting assistant, Hootie. Awesome. That is packaging, though. What I am going to do is take a bit of a break. Let me get this opened up, and then we are going to get a better look at Dr. Midnight. There's more to come, guys. Don't go anywhere. You especially. You know who I'm talking to. Don't go anywhere, guys. There's more to come. Stay tuned. And Dr. Midnight does come with a button. It's right there. Enjoy it. It's right there. I'm going to put it at this side. My pile is piling up very quickly. I know a certain somebody's going to be excited. He does also come with a hand, the other arm of Darkseid. I'm just going to grab Darkseid off camera here. There he is. Hey, what's going on, Darkseid? Destroy any planets, any worlds. I'm just going to adjust his bicep there and peg it into the socket. And just like that, my friends, oh, he's finished. And he looks pretty good. Anyways, I'm going to put him aside. I don't want to hog any Dr. Midnight time here. Darkseid actually is going to be reviewed separately. He is on the way, don't worry. We'll zoom in first. And all things considered, again, it's not a figure that I really know a lot about of the character, but all things considered, I think Dr. Midnight is a pretty decent looking figure. He's got this really, really nice green cape going on there. Sculpted really well as well. I think it's an ideal Batman cape. Here I am just taking whatever figure I want and deciding it should be used for a different cape for a different character. But if you just put some points on the bottom, I think this could be a perfectly sculpted cape for Batman because it's just really narrow. I like narrow capes on figures. He also has this really nice bright red, as you can see, with the crescent moon front in the yellow. Nice yellow belt buckle. And the rest of the figure is just basically a brown and black. Brown on the gloves, the boots, swashbuckle boots, and of course the black. But all things considered, a really solid figure. We also have Hootie. There he is. I have no idea if Hootie actually does anything. His head does rotate. But special abilities, I'm thinking as an owl, he's got squat. Hootie. Oh, they want to be with you. He does sit on his wrist fairly easily. I guess you could really put it on either or. I would put it on this hand personally. Generally, when I have my owl on my arm, it's usually on this arm. That's why this arm is usually a little, I got a bigger bicep on this arm, is usually because I'm holding the owl on this arm all the time. But the owl sits pretty good until you jiggle the figure, and because there is really nothing holding the owl on aside from the sculpt of the feet and the tail, it may fall off. But I guess once you have him standing, it's really not going to go anywhere. He's going to go somewhere, though. I'm just going to take him off for a second. The head sculpt on Dr. Midnight is pretty good. It's pretty good as well. You can see the goggles going on there. I like the choice of flesh color that they used for the mouth area. It's pretty good. I also like the fact that they went with this darker black. Now, had this figure been released in some of the earlier waves, like wave 1 to 4 of the... even, I guess, really wave 1 to 3 of the DC Universe, this black probably would have been a lot lighter in color. But they have since replaced it with a much darker black, and I think it works perfectly with Dr. Midnight here. Dr. Midnight's head is on a ball joint. You can move it left and right. I can't seem to move it up and down, and it could likely be just because the back of his head butts so close to his neck that you can't get the head to raise any higher than what it is. And the way that his chin is, it really prevents it from moving the head down as well. But you can still move it left and right. The arms move out and rotate. There's a rotation in the bicep. There is a bend at the elbow. There's a rotation in the hand. There is the upper torso bend. There is the rotation in the waist, although I can't get the waist to... There we go. Get the waist to move. The legs do move forward and back, in and out. A rotation in the thigh. Bend at the knee. Rotation in the boot. And a bend at the foot. Let's get him properly posed here. Properly poised with his owl. Put it on his arm like that. Have him kind of looking up at his owl. He's like, what do you think, Hootie? Should we get the neighborhood punks? Yes? And he's like, deploy! At any rate, I think Spot's getting a little tired, so Spot's going to wrap it up right here. And I think I'm going to give Dr. Midnight pretty good coloring. I don't know a lot about the figure, and I don't know a lot about the character that the figure is based off of. But I think the figure as a whole is pretty good. And that's the hardest part, again, with this wave specifically, because there are a lot of characters in this wave that probably a lot of people don't know. I don't know anything about Dr. Midnight. But I can tell you as a toy, as a figure, Dr. Midnight is still pretty good. And I think coloring and everything else, I'm going to give Dr. Midnight a 6.5. As a side note, I also like Hootie. Today's Toy Spot, we're having a look at the DC Universe Classics Wave 12. We now finished Darkseid, so he's going to be coming up after the next review. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what you guys think of this particular figure, and I will see you guys next time.